Here's what you need to know about grass-fed meat, because it's not as simple as you might think. The USDA defines grass-fed as an animal fed only mother's milk and grass or other greens its entire life, but it doesn't specify fresh or stored greens. Animals labeled grass-fed can be confined to pens, and they can be fed hay much of their lives, and they can still receive antibiotics and growth hormones. And the hay can be genetically modified. Yikes. Here are the different levels of quality in grass-fed beef. What you want to get is 100% grass-fed beef that's organic if you can pull it off, but if not, let's walk through this. You can get level 2, which is fed some hay and silage. This is organic, 100% grass-fed beef, but when you use hay or silage, that silage is dried grass, which they dry during the summer, can be really high in nutrients, but it contains yeast, and oftentimes it contains mold, which is a big source of toxins in cows. Bad silage is a very common problem in agriculture, and it's not like silage is either good or bad. It's that it's either really good or on a sliding scale towards if you feed that to your cows, they'll die. So people do their best, but you don't necessarily know what you're getting if you have silage-fed, grass-fed meat. And at least with organic here, 100% grass-fed, you're getting no antibiotics, no hormones, no pesticides, and it's good for the environment. So this is where I tend to eat organic grass-fed beef, yes. You can also get grass-fed grain-finished beef, which is the next level down. Cows are fed grass most of their lives, but then they finish them on grain for 8 to 10 weeks. Unfortunately, grain tends to be high in mycotoxins, which do bioaccumulate in the cattle, and 10 weeks of grain feeding depletes nutrient content and changes the type of fat in the beef. So instead of getting the good grass-fed fats, you get the bad fats that are inflammatory. So this is still better for the environment than grain-fed meat, but unfortunately, it's not good for you. If you get stuck with grain-finished beef, your best bet is to not eat the fat on that beef. If you have organic 100% grass-fed beef, you should focus on eating the fat from that because that's the best part. The next kind of worst level here is you can get just organic grain-fed meat, which is better than non-organic grain-fed meat, but it's something that I don't eat. It's not really a good choice. It has no pesticides, has no antibiotics, has no growth hormones. It likely contains mycotoxins from organic grain feed. It can have organic corn, organic soy. It has lower nutrient content. It's going to be definitely high in inflammatory omega-6 oils, and it has a bad impact on the environment. So there's really not a good reason to eat organic beef. There is a good reason to eat grass-fed beef that's grain-finished, maybe. But what you really want to do is get 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef, even if it's fed some hay and silage, and ideally none of that. So if you thought organic grain-fed beef was a bad choice, wait to hear about industrial or factory farmed or CAFO beef. This is factory farmed. It's the lowest tier of beef you can buy. It may contain residues from mycotoxins and pesticides and antibiotic residues. It probably has synthetic growth hormones, and it can have heavy metals, all of which are unregulated or poorly regulated. In fact, you might not even know what country the beef was raised in with the latest labeling standards. There's a very high risk of the cows developing infections and being treated with those antibiotics, which remain in the meat. It also means the meat is much more likely to have very high levels of E. coli and other antibiotic-resistant bacteria that can make you sick. Factory farming is absolutely atrocious for our environment. It is not okay for you. It's not okay for the bacteria that live inside you. And you need to just not eat this meat. I will go vegetarian at restaurants if they only serve factory farmed meat. And you'd be amazed at how many people serve USDA prime factory farmed meat. This is not okay for you, and it's not okay for the world you live in. The cows are usually treated unethically as well, so there is no benefit to anyone for allowing this practice to continue, and you need to not eat this stuff. So no factory farmed industrial meat, and I even recommend steering clear from grain-fed organic meat. This means you eat less, but you eat better, and you spend the same amount of money. You're going to love how you feel when you do this. And here's what you get if you're getting beef that ate only grass. You're getting the highest nutrient content, up to 3 times more nutrients compared to grain-fed, whether it's organic or not. You're getting the highest percentage of quality fats that you can get out of beef. You're getting the lowest toxin content. You're having the best environmental impact, and it's the most ethical meat option you can possibly get. So do yourself a favor and spend a little bit more on getting 100% grass-fed beef and eat a little bit less beef in order to do it. You'll still come out way ahead. Stay away from the industrial, organic-fed meat. Stay bulletproof.